like for you guys to please welcome EFO Media. That includes Ellen, the founder of the company, Samantha, my minion forever. No, I'm just kidding. Daphne, and Alex, right? And so if you guys could give them a hand, they'll get started.
I know we're kind of clustered up here awkwardly, but it's only because we're going to be sort of passing off the presentation and working like as a team, which you'll see. So I'm going to start by just introducing what EFO is, who's driving. Okay. We're a full-service ad agency. We are positioned in West El Paso in Coronado Tower on Mesa Street. And our job as an agency is to help clients, big and small, determine where it's best to promote their services, where it's best to reach target audiences, and we do that through a combination of things. Some of the industries we work with, we do a lot of healthcare work. We do work for UMC, El Paso Children's Hospital, Texas Tech. And actually for each of those clients, we're doing different things, which is interesting. They may all seem healthcare related, but they all have different priorities and goals, and the tactics that we deploy for them are all very different. We have casinos and have promoted events that are happening in El Paso. We do work for a lot of nonprofits, and we also have done work for some automotive groups. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. We have other industries and other categories that we cover, but those I would say are the biggest. Before we got here, Eric sent us, or your professor, sorry, a list of questions that I believe came from some of you. So each of our slides are going to have a question that are user generated that we'll try and answer as we go along. For this one, how long has EFO been around and who was our first client? I opened EFO in 2013 and really was fortunate to open it with a key client. At that time, it was Sierra Providence Health Network. Today, they're known as the Hospitals of Providence. And I worked with them for the first 6 years that I had EFO and helped them through that whole rebrand into the Hospitals of Providence today, which was super cool, really fun. But they were the first client that I had. Next. This is some of our team. So our team is, not surprisingly built in departments, let's say, but we all work very closely together. The account team is made up of myself. That's Kara, that's Alex, who you see here, and Regina. We are the ones that, number one, are pounding the pavement looking for new clients on the regular, which means we've got to sort of be out there all the time. But we also are the client-facing team for all the clients that we work with. So we're sort of a conduit between the client and their marketing department and all of our individual departments. We also have a media buying team, and that's Samantha, who you see here, Blanca, Gigi, and Danny, who, interestingly enough, last year we presented to this class, and Danny approached us afterward for an internship, and she is an integral part of our digital team today. So she still works with us. And then the creative team, led by Daphne, who will speak in a little bit. That's Moni. Monica does all of our video production and editing. She works with other vendors on bigger productions that we do for clients. Caitlin is a really, really gifted designer who is a graphic designer, and she builds websites, which when she first started was not really a comfort zone for her. And now she just told me the other day, I actually prefer doing websites over my graphic design work, which was kind of a big deal. Julia is next to her, and Belen. Julia is a graphic designer and an illustrator. She's super talented. Belen does graphic design and all of our social media. Really, really strong team. And I don't even know that everyone's represented here, like Sue, my little dog, and Sansa. They're very much members of our team as well. But so we all work together to manage the accounts and to deliver agency work depending on who the client is. So what does an agency do and how do you get new business? A good agency does probably a little bit of everything. And I say that just really because of how the world of marketing and advertising is structured today. Back in the day when some of us older people were, I'm going to leave you in that category too, were, no offense, were, you know, I get it too, yes. We, you know, could build really strong campaigns for clients utilizing maybe even only 2 or 3 tactics: television, radio, and billboards. And today, there's a plethora of tactics that you can use, and every single client, you know, may require a different mix of that. So we always tell our clients, we never take a cookie cutter approach. We can't. So what do? We start with research and data and clients' goals and help develop plans that are very customized for an individual client. And how do we get new business? Most of it is, I wouldn't say necessarily pounding the pavement and knocking on doors. I think a lot of our business is coming through right now because as an agency, and not to boast a lot, but I'm going to kind of brag on us a little bit. We don't and never have been structured to go to third parties for like media tactics and digital buying. All of that actually was established and started by your professor at EFO. And then he handed on the learnings and the building of that to Samantha. And it's just set us up as an agency because we handle all of that in-house, and we are dealing directly with platforms like Meta and TikTok and Google, and you know, all the AI platforms now are a new thing that we're doing. So we handle that all in-house, and I think that's given us a bit of a leading edge to approach it in a way that's very cost efficient for clients. I think that answered. How do we get new business? People know that we're good at what we do and they start coming back. So this is an example of some of the clients that we work with. We have a pretty strong base, which is exciting. And the things that we do for them, as I said, are very different. Nusenda is a credit union that came into El Paso from New Mexico. They're trying to grow into West Texas. They've always been New Mexico based. They're 100 years old, and they were coming into a market that no one knew who they were. And so we helped them with kind of the intro to the market and the research that entailed. It was through focus groups, and it was digital surveying, all sorts of things. We helped them prep to get here. And now that they're here, one of the main things we do for them is help them monitor their competition. The majority of their marketing team is still based in New Mexico, so they're not here seeing what their competition is doing. Our team collects that, and we send them monthly reporting. Sky City Casino, it's one of a casino outside of Albuquerque. It's tribally owned. We help them with all of their casino promotions, all of their tribal events that they have at cultural centers. That's a really cool client, and it's mostly media-based. They have an internal creative team, and we help them build out the tactics and the targeting that go around that. We're doing work for the county that also is, it wouldn't sound, I think, to you all like traditional work that an ad agency would be doing. It's all very much research-based and connecting the county employees with businesses along the Mission Trail and how they could help businesses along the Mission Trail. That's a cool one, too. El Paso Giving Day. I don't know how many of you all have heard of that, but it's an annual event put on by the Paso del Norte Community Foundation. What we do with them is help their list of 250, 260 nonprofits that are enrolled to raise money on that day, promote that it's happening and get people to donate. UMC, I touched on, we do work for them for their healthcare partners, which is a group of physicians. We help promote all of those. And then one question was, what was our favorite client and why? I've been in the business a really long time. I know I look really young, but I've really been in this quite a while. And it was just 2 years ago that we executed a statewide campaign for Texas all around vaccine. And it was a campaign that was developed that was highly inclusive. We did focus groups in, I think, 11 or maybe even 13 different languages, I can't remember, but created custom pieces that targeted and had custom messaging for individual segments. And it was started off, as I said, it was very research-based, and it turned into a statewide campaign that we're really, really proud of. I think the next slide, I'm passing it on to Alex.
Oops, I think I went too long. Yes. Okay, so client goals into strategies. Basically, this is just in a nutshell what we do. So almost never does a client come in and tell us the strategy. They just come in and tell us problems. So problems such as like people don't know who we exist, sales are slow, we need more supporters, or we need more students. So then it's up to us and the agency to then come up with a strategy and make it actionable and actually work. So that looks like building awareness, driving conversions, increasing donations, and boosting enrollment. So we take their problems, make it actionable, and then not only does it look good, but it will, like, we want it to work. So in a nutshell, that's basically what our agency does. Same goal, different strategy. So 2 examples, we have Downtown Deck Plaza Foundation, and then we have Sky City Casino. So they both have the exact same goal. They both want to increase awareness. But because they both have 2 different audience bases, we have to take the strategy totally different. So Downtown Deck Plaza, they want to get the community trust and support. So that's more of like a slow burner. So things that we would do is like social media ads, increasing followers, building that trust within the community, and just having consistent messaging around Downtown Deck Plaza. For Sky City, same thing, they want to increase awareness, but this is a little bit more broad. They just want more people to have eyes on them. So we do that by more of like a broad approach. So it's more billboard, more TV ads, YouTube ads. So just a good perspective into looking at like the exact same goal could be taken totally differently depending on the audience. And I think that somewhat answers the question here, how do you decide on a target audience? And I can let Sam also give a little bit of detail there since she's our digital director. But in my short answer, it depends on the client's audience.
Yeah, I mean, each client will vary. I mean, even campaign-wise, for Sky City, we'll run an event campaign to promote their concert for a country concert. Very different audience than when we're presenting the audience that we're promoting their casino promos. All the different like bingo nights that they're offering. So same client, 2 different targets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that does set us apart. And when we are putting out ads, it's being very specific on who's actually watching them. So
I think something that also might be really important to touch on, I don't know how many of you guys are wanting to get into social media or wanting to pursue, creating content there and building pages for clients. But the Downtown Deck Plaza in particular, how many of you guys have heard about it? Okay, so it's a really cool project that, so I don't know if you've heard that TxDOT is going to be expanding I-10 at downtown. So they're going to be widening it. There's nothing we can do about it. None of us want to deal with more construction on the highway, but it's coming. The Downtown Deck Plaza is an organization, a nonprofit organization that's trying to raise money to put basically a deck over that part of I-10. So essentially creating a tunnel, okay? And the deck on top of the 10 would be a park, right? So there are a lot of people who are for it and a lot of people who are really kind of aggressively against it. So it puts us as people who are trying to educate and build awareness on it sort of at a disadvantage because the people who are against it, I'm not going to name names, but they're rather aggressively against it. And they're circulating in very large part misinformation, or they're taking information about it and twisting it. So we as a team have to find like, okay, where can we move the needle in a positive way for the Deck Plaza and get information out that is accurate, and so that people, especially those of you in the room that don't know about it or know about it but don't really have an opinion on it, can get information and valid information. And what we found through a sentiment analysis was on Facebook, that's where the majority of the aggression exists and the real negative commentary exists. On Instagram, a younger, more inspirational platform, there's very largely positive sentiment that exists there. And so we have had to structure a different approach for each of those platforms. So if you're thinking about going into social media and you want to start building a business in that regard, make sure you're considering little nuances like that with the platforms, because it's very, very real. And that's an excellent example of it. Oh, you got it.
So we wanted to show you guys some of the different platforms we place ads on. So my department primarily does digital media, and we have a traditional media buyer too that does TV, radio, billboards, print. But we can place ads on all of the platforms that you guys use every single day. Sometimes you probably don't even know you're clicking on an ad. But like Ellen was saying earlier, we use different platforms for reaching different types of people. A user on Facebook is more likely to have an opinion and comment and, versus someone on Reddit as well. Versus someone on Instagram, they're probably just browsing. On Pinterest, they're just looking for their next idea. So one of the questions you guys had was, which media platforms do you use the most and why? And that's just going to vary on our clients and their goals. So for a client that wants to drive awareness to their business, to their project, we're going to use these like broader reach platforms like social media. Versus a client who's looking to drive action, we're going to use something like Google search because they're already looking for the solution to whatever like if they're looking for a high school to enroll their student, they're going to go on and search it instead of waiting passively to get served an ad. So it'll depend. And this is kind of an example of how I said sometimes you don't even realize that you're clicking on an ad. The top one is for our UMC healthcare partners that Ellen touched on. And for a parent that's searching for, or just an individual, searching for their GI doctor, they're going to type it into Google and they'll get served a series of search ads that are ads, and then there's organic results right below. So ideally you pay for this position to be above your competitors. So if you're looking for a GI doctor and you want your ad to be above your competitor like Providence, you would get place number one, depending on your bid, your keywords, your website, and same on social media. So a Facebook post, this is an Instagram post and then a Facebook ad. They look very similar, but one you pay for, one you don't.
Okay, creative process first. Who in here are graphic designers or graphic design majors or creative? Okay. There's more. Okay. All right, I'm going to rock your world here. Okay. Understanding the creative process for us, and really, I've been in a variety of sector, both in-house creative teams and with EFO Media, and this process is standard across the board. So the creative process doesn't start back in the creative team. It starts with your account services folks and your digital team. They need to understand client goal. And in our agency, what they do, are you making fun of me because I said folks?
No, we were making fun of each other because we're boiling hot.
Okay. Also, I've been doing this forever, as young as I look too. Anyway, they start working with the client. They have to understand what the goals are, and because they are client-facing, they've built the relationship with the client, and so they can work with them to better understand what they need, better than anybody on the creative team. So once they have a goal, and once they've done their research, then they turn it over to us and we do our research. And we work very closely with them to understand and make sure that our research on the creative side is aligned with the research that they have done to meet the goals. As creatives, whether you're graphic design, videographer, photographer, you are not just making things pretty. You are solving problems. You are creating visual solutions to reach goals. That's what you do. And if we love to create, like we love getting there, we love drawing, we love doing all those things, but it has to have a purpose. And that makes you a better creative. And when you, like all of these things, as much as it seems like in the weeds and it's nitpicky, it makes you a better creative. The more you understand about the whole process and the goals of your clients as an agency or whether you're in-house, the better creative you're going to be. Then you start brainstorming. Once you have your goals, you research, you brainstorm. Research is imperative in every single thing you do. There's lots of designs out there. And now you have AI. And AI makes life for designers extraordinarily difficult because AI can do anything. You can plug it in and it'll create this wonderful thing, but it doesn't know the emotion and it doesn't know the research and it doesn't know all of those little intricacies that make you as a designer, a human designer, above the rest. So those are key things that you have to take with you. And proof. Oh my God, proof. You have to proof your own work, rely on a colleague, do teamwork, rely on your account team. Everything has to be proofed. And you're human, you're gonna make errors. I did one this week. Not fun, you feel terrible about it, but the more you proof and the more you get in the habit of it, the better you are of tackling things. And this is critical because you're not back there working on one thing at a time. I relish the days when we don't have a whole lot going on, which is maybe once every 2 months, maybe. You're busy, so you have to take time, look at things, take a step back, proof. And then finally, you launch. Once everybody's signed off, including the client, which sometimes can take a little bit of time, but you're still under a deadline, then you go. How do you handle when clients change copy or design after work has been done? This happens 80, 90% of the time. You put your head down. Clients pay your salary. At the end of the day, they get to make those decisions, whether you like it or not. And as a designer, it's real easy to get married to what you're doing. Like you love your work and you're super excited about it. We have an extraordinarily talented illustrator and she puts her heart into it. And it has been a learning curve to understand that it's not your work. At the end of the day.
Just to add to that.
Yeah.
That's why these first few steps, even for a graphic designer, are essential because at some point, someone is going to question your design and you're going to say, it was very intentional because of X, Y, and Z. So it also helps you defend
Agreed.
your work. It's not always going to work. However, if you're informed on the front end and you're using that to fuel your design, it's going to help. So just keep that in mind too.
And that's really the bulk of it all. And just a few favorite things. So I've been at EFO Media just a little bit over a year. I've had a variety of jobs all around El Paso and Illinois. And these are some of our favorite things. El Paso Children's on the top right. As Ellen mentioned earlier, we do a variety of things for them. We promote services, we promote physicians, we do their annual report, we do a whole bunch of things. And again, we have to know what their goals are, and we have to be able to create within those goals. And I think that we had some pretty tight parameters with the geneticist ads. And I think we came up with some great ideas, just real simple. This is a billboard ad, you don't want a lot. I think there's still probably a little bit more copy on there than we need because people are zooming by at 60 miles an hour unless you're stopped in traffic. We've also done, again, some social media for UMC Healthcare Partners. This is a video. Can you play that real quick?
I can't see my cursor on this side.
It's okay, here. I'll do that.
Sorry, getting
You can play that one too, whichever one's easiest. There you go.
No.
Okay. They play their, again, just a little bit of animation. Some of the things with UMC Healthcare Partners, we film the physicians, our videographer comes back, does all the edits, and again, we have to do it within parameters that are specified to us by UMC Healthcare Partners. We also mentioned doing Giving Day. All of the gators are illustrated by our designer Julia. And this year was a blast. We had a lot of fun doing this year. Last year was a football theme. We had to do Super Bowl, then we had to pull back a little bit because we were infringing on Super Bowl rights, and nobody wants to do that because they're a big, powerful organization. We've done illustrations for Vape Free PDN, which is our smoke-free initiative through the Paso de Norte Health Foundation. This is some of the Vax Chat content that we did for with the multiple languages. That was before my time at EFO. Yeah. And then again, graphics and videography to promote the 30th anniversary of the Paso de Norte Health Foundation. In this case, it was active living and the trail, healthy living in the trail. And again, this is just a big, broad overview of the multiple projects that are back in the creative department every day. So,
Sometimes all at once.
all at once. Thanks.
Okay, a campaign from start to finish, like how does that look like? And for this example, we chose Smoke Free Paso Norte. We've had this campaign for probably 5+ years, 6 years now, and it evolves. They come in with the goal, and for this case, their goal was to educate parents, not kids, not teens, strictly parents. So that's our goal, and how are we going to reach out to them? And the importance on this one is for them to know that when their kid gets caught with a THC vape, it could be a felony. So that's our biggest goal, is to try to reach to the parents. So we then take that goal, we take it into the strategy portion, and this is where, again, that we're trying to not just have them or tell them that like vapes are bad. That's just a very broad message to come across. So the strategy behind what we're trying to do is that THC vape is a felony if your kid is caught with it. So that's our strategy, and we obviously bring in the entire agency. We do our briefing, our brainstorming. That's where all of the magic happens, basically. And then you go into the next section, which is ads launch. So a lot happens before the ads launch. I mean, the creative process. Again, we keep on reiterating that ads and creative are not just meant to look pretty. They're meant to work. They're meant to really pull in your audience. So that all gets discussed beforehand, and then once launched, and then we just watch it grow, and that's where Sam comes in. She watches the metrics on a daily, weekly, monthly. We're on it all the time, so we get to see it actually work. And in some cases, realistically, sometimes it maybe didn't work, and we're able to go in real time and swap it out. So that's the process there. And then, are there a lot of deadlines? For sure. There's deadlines. I mean, even from the goal process, when we need to meet with the client, that's kind of a deadline. Strategy, they want to see the proposal. They want to see the whole strategy. They want to see it all laid out before we even get started. So that's a deadline. And then obviously deadlines with creative and ads. There's deadlines everywhere. And sometimes they change. Like, we need it today, or we can see it by the end of the week. And then to showcase how this campaign really, really did well. I don't know if you all recognize, these were billboards that were placed around the city, and even digital ads. So you might have seen the billboards, but you definitely did not see the digital ads because they weren't targeted to you. But so we did see it. The creative was great, but again, we want to see it work, and this definitely worked. So we had 527.5% website site visits to the website since launch of the campaign, and we had 193% increase in active users, so them going to the website. So that just was a total win for us. Again, creative is simplified by science for a reason. We wanted it to be a strict and straight to the point message, and it worked very well. So we're super proud of this campaign, and the clients were as well.
So in the digital landscape, I mean, since I started, different platforms have changed so much. Oh my God, she's recording. And yeah, so what worked last year might not work this year. What worked last month might not work this month. So we see trends evolve like on the daily basis. And in a digital world, we have to keep up with it. We have to meet with our reps regularly. We have to find the newest trends, work with our creative team to show them like, hey, this is really working. This isn't. Maybe we switch it up. So back then we used basic targeting. There was like demographic targeting, so like males age 18 to 34. Now we use behavioral targeting, so we don't want to just reach a male that's between those ages. We want to reach a male that's interested in football, more specifically college football. And we're able to capture those audiences based on how they behave online. And the biggest change currently that we're going through is the introduction of AI. So AI not only has helped us, but also challenged us too. AI, it's helped us build campaigns. It helps us write ad copy. It helps us optimize. So yeah, I guess it's just about being nimble and being able to just like hop on to the next trend and yeah, follow them. Yeah. And not only are like digital ad platforms changing, but so are websites. So back in the day, they used to, not even back in the day, a couple of years ago, people used to build their websites on the foundation of your website appearing on Google search results. So you wanted your website, like I said earlier in the previous example, for your doctor to appear in the top ones. And if it didn't, you used to have to add meta descriptions, keywords, all these different little things on the back end of the website. And nowadays, people refer to AI. It's the first option when you search anything. Gemini pops up on Google. People refer to ChatGPT. So you structure your website in the form of FAQs. So people are using how to get to, or what is the best doctor in El Paso for GI? Instead of just GI doctor, which is how we would have done it back then. So now we have our web developers optimizing the content on the back end to be more structured in the AI form.
Okay, and we figured because at this point you guys would probably be dozing off, so we wanted to incorporate some memes to get y'all's attention back. But no, this is also just showing y'all what it's like in an agency. It is hard work. It is, I mean, we're in there from 8 to 5. We're working a lot on different clients all at once, so that's a perfect representation of what we look like. We're brainstorming ideas with the entire office all day, every day, so our brains always look like that, even if it's on a Monday or Friday. Mixing creative thinking with real data. So back to Sam's point where we use a lot of research, a lot of data to really just pull it all together and make it actionable. And then we move fast and solve problems on the fly. We just got to be nimble and we got to just stay up with the trend. If there's a swap in the campaign that we need to swap in, we're right then and there swapping it in real time. And then, well, that just, yeah, we do look like that. But no, just kidding. We actually do have a lot of fun. I personally love, and I feel like I can speak for everyone else in the office, it's a great environment. Even though we're in there, we get our work done. We do have so much fun. And we just pulled up some of our stories on Instagram. You can't hear them, but but we like to have fun, and that's, I feel like, by science by Ellen's direction. By Ellen's direction is she wanted our social media, the agency's social media, to represent the fun that we have, the collaboration we have in our office. Most agencies use it as a selling point. We just use it to show our personality and really just show we have fun while kicking ass. And what does an average day look like? It just depends. It really is just different. But we try to incorporate having fun and giggling and catching up on the weekend. I think we really all like each other at the end of the day, and that's, I feel like, important in a good environment. And yeah, if you guys want to follow us, our QR code's right there, or you can just bring out your Instagram later.
First person to ask a question wins a prize.
how much did Mr. Jeffer put you in the bread? And did it leave such a bad taste in your mouth that you have no men in your staff?
Did he not tell you that he got fired? We had to fire him to get rid of him.
that the last point of it?
No, I don't think so. And we have had guys on the team. I don't quite know how to answer that without alienating some people, but I'm just going to be really, really honest. I am a female boss that I'm pretty easy, and I do like to have fun. And I talk about how my management style includes a little bit of mothering, I guess. Mothering without smothering, kind of. And men don't always do well with a strong female leading them.
She's a great boss.
I guess that's how I would answer it. We've had a lot of really great guys work with us who have gone on to do really great things. The last one, Mikey, was in the creative department. He left a little over a year ago. He was the last man standing. And, he was like the butt of all our jokes on socials. And it was really fun and it was great. But he's gone on to Austin and he's a graphic designer for a firm there. It's nothing like, we're not anti-guy at all, actually. I'm married. My husband's really cute. I like, but it's hard as a female, I'll be honest, to manage men.
Well, I also think, I'll jump in,
Mm-hmm.
that your agency is very pro-women. It's founded by a woman. I think you've got a big interest in helping women
Yeah,
succeed.
no, definitely.
And that's probably also
Yeah.
a big part of it.
Yeah. Both the dogs are girls? I don't know. It's just,
There's something in the water.
yeah.
I have a question. So, this is gonna be pertaining because I have to do something about it.
You get a magnet.
Do you do any guerrilla ads? And like, if you do, what type of guerrilla ads have you done?
So that's kind of a tough one. It used to be a lot easier to execute guerrilla campaigns, and one of my all-time favorites, I used to do work for Shell Oil, and they were introducing a new grade of gasoline. It was called V-Power. And again, starting from research and working with a creative team, it's actually a really funny example of using research to drive a guerrilla tactic in this case, but also to kind of keep my creatives in check because they were coming back with these massive ad campaigns that we didn't have the budget for. And what we ultimately determined was this particular oil is speaking to a segment that we want to start with the early adopters. And at that point, our market was Houston. And the early adopters, through our research, we discovered were like your street cars that are racing late at night and shouldn't be racing, but it was like this down and dirty approach. And we introduced a new form of gas with this really cool graffiti artist named Totem through a big mural in a part of town where a lot of racing happened at night. So yeah, I'm trying to think from an agency perspective. We create a lot of cheeky things like your magnets that we can hand out, and that magnet you got that we hand out and give clients opportunities to create a more one-on-one and different approach to connecting with people. But I think true guerrilla, the Shell Oil thing was the coolest I'd ever worked on.
Does the creative team, is it kind of more specialized? Like everybody has something that they're each really strong in, or is it everybody kind of has to know a little bit of everything?
I gave the mic to Daphne.
Are you giving out money?
No.
So this
That's a thumb drive.
Yeah. So this team, not everybody. Let's see. So it's not really just I cannot illustrate. I would not even try to illustrate. But our illustrator does everything. And I think we each bring certain strengths, but I think also when we're all busy, we do try to at least step in. We have our videographer, she gets busy, our social media, she gets busy. I know After Effects, I know Premiere. Julia knows After Effects, Julia knows Premiere. Caitlin knows it a little bit. But I think we all bring a unique skill set to the table, but we're all very versed in being able to handle everything else. So I think that's what makes us stronger, and it certainly does alleviate a lot of the tension when we're all under the gun for a particular deadline. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you gonna ask something?
Yes, I was gonna ask, since your program, your manage is about advertisements and help like to help like to manage and to interview people and also to work with them to have to promote something. That makes me like, do you also help to promote people that's gonna to enter into the cinema industry?
Ask that a different way, because I'm not sure I understand where you're going.
How can I say this? So like, if I want to start like my cinematic industry as promoting as a director, and I don't know how to promote myself, can I count with the same program that you girls are working with, so I can like have like a certain advertisement so I can promote my work?
Yeah, I feel like if you were wanting to start a business and you want to promote yourself and you know who your target is, I would say just kind of take a big step back and say, all right, I want to start this business and I want to work with these people. Research who they are, like as an individual. Try and figure out where you might be able to either bump into them at a seminar, at a whatever. Introduce yourself, send them an email. You're gonna, starting a business, especially like a niche business like you're talking about in a market like El Paso where there aren't many, and it's not, you're gonna have to be kind of crafty and you're gonna have to shed any inhibitions and just like, screw it, man, I'm gonna go for it and I'm gonna introduce myself to this big ass guy that's probably gonna ignore me, but if I can find some common ground, I wanna make an impression. And so I think for a small business in your category, that's where I would start. And then as you grow, you're gonna be starting to make a little bit more money. You're gonna get some name recognition, sort of just from your own boots on the ground. And then at that point, I think that's when you would pursue hiring an agency or developing a paid marketing campaign from there.
Oh.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be crafty. It sounded, based on the questions that we got, that a lot of you feel like eventually you want to open your own business, or you want to be your own boss and sell your services to people. And I would say that's really smart, but it's also really, really hard in a market like El Paso. It just is.
Another question.
Yeah. She gets a thumb drive.
So I know El Paso is like really small. Well, from what I've seen.
You know what? El Paso is not small.
Well,
It's small-minded, though.
to
We
me,
can be
yeah.
small-minded.
I mean,
I'll give you that.
I moved here from California, so it's, to me
Okay.
it's small.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of advertisements or like kind of strategies have you given to like small local shops?
Like what kind of a shop?
Like, I don't know the shops here. That's why.
So like a
Um,
retail shop, an automotive shop,
Like, I would say like a local, like if it was like like a piercing shop or something smaller, like a restaurant that's like very local and isn't like a big brand.
So again, I mean, I know you guys are like, geez, research, but it really does all start with research. If it's a piercing shop, where's the location? Where are competitors positioned? We have a digital software that it's called Placer AI. You guys should look into it. It tracks foot traffic. So we might start for a piercing shop that was going to open in 79936 zip code, let's say, and look at the other piercing shops in that zip code and see what routes people are taking to get to their location. And then we might target them digitally based on their route pattern, or we could target them with a billboard that's placed within that. It depends on the client, but it starts with where's their customer coming from. It always starts with
I
that.
heard a lot about doing research first. They're not shocked.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes, there's a question.
And for example, she said about a
Your mom will like this. It's a tea towel for the kitchen.
wait, she said about a piercing store, but what about like I don't know, like a tattoo artist that does not have like a store but like a certain location? How would you advertise that? Yeah,
So, like a
mobile.
traveling tattoo artist?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd start. I think I'd probably start with finding out what their competitors do, but I think from a tattoo artist perspective and a really interesting concept like a mobile tattoo artist, I'd probably start on social media. And I'd probably start with organic social media, meaning I wouldn't pay for anything unless it was just like a $20 or $100 boost, and kind of try to grow it that way. Do you guys have any ideas?
I think like a really cool project we're currently working on is boosting tourism along the Mission Trail. And a piece of that was us going down to, well, not me, but the team going down to each of those very small businesses and interviewing them and doing this extensive survey to seeing what their needs are, marketing-wise, whether it's a logo, a website, brand guidelines.
Signage.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything, but each one has their own different plan that we're starting. So it totally depends.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like a follow-up question to the current question. What's the hardest category that you've had to advertise, or like as far as research and stuff?
The hardest? Sorry, I just want you.
I guess like talking about food or music or casino or
Those are all easy because everybody has to eat.
like what,
People love going to casinos.
for you guys, what's the hardest one where you just like, oh, it's so much work? Or is
I think,
everything just easy for you guys?
Honestly, I don't know if any of you are car dealers or have come from a car dealer family, but those are the worst clients in the world. They're horrible.
Everything one day and then turn it all off.
Yes, yeah. And they think they know everything, and a lot of the local car dealers are like old white guys that just want TV and newspaper, and we're like, nobody's even reading the newspaper, so they've been the toughest, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think also like an important note being in this industry is like marketing is always the first to get blamed for
Yeah.
anything. So like Alex said, like they'll just come to you and be like, sales are low, we're turning it all off, everything's cut.
Yeah.
And we just have to eat it.
And literally from one day to the next, we start a campaign and they're like, nobody's come in for it, turn it off.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe not necessarily the industry, but maybe the point of contact that we're working with. We love when we have a client that we're working with, not feeling like working against. I think that's
Yeah, no,
important.
that's true. I think that's something too that's added to our success as an agency. Most of the other agencies in town have been around for like 50 years. And so when I opened EFO, it was kind of like, old men basically, ha ha ha, come on honey, we'll see where this goes. And I think because we were really, really early on the digital side of things and knew that is where the future lied, and it took a lot of the other agencies by surprise. We've grown really quickly in the 13 years that we've been open, which is also something that has been chaotic and freaky as a business owner, but something I'm really proud of. And I think it's because we take an approach with our clients that, like, you're not just my client. We're like team members. We're an extension of your team. And if we do our job right, you're going to look like a badass. And that's what our job is. It doesn't matter. We're not about promoting ourselves. We're about promoting our clients. And I think they all feel that way and know that we are dedicated to doing the right thing. And not being combative is hard a lot of the times, because creatively we'll come up with an idea that we know is going to just move the needle in such a big way, but our clients are nervous and not ready to do it. And so it's exciting and deflating and all of those things.
I have a perfect example. I've been working on a billboard for a client who will remain unmentioned, and I'm going through 35 different versions of this thing.
How many?
35. It's a billboard.
And it's still not approved.
And it's still not approved. But the trick is, again, this particular client, I think we all, like, as crazy as that is, we're a partner through and through. And so at the end of the day, even if I'm going to like start like blinking because I'm losing my mind, because I'm going to try to come up with yet another concept, because it's hard, 30, it's one thing. But we'll get there. And we know we'll get there. And we work together and we kind of commiserate together. And at the end of the day, we do deliver them something that they're very happy with. And that is really the ultimate goal.
Actually, I have a question. Like pure curiosity. I know you didn't touch on it in your slideshow. How often or how many AI tools do you guys use for making?
Well, I mean, it depends. Meta in and of itself has had an AI assistant for us for I don't even know how many years, since the get-go. So we've been tapping into the AI, but just in a way that isn't truly consumer facing like ChatGPT is. And we use them all, to be totally honest. I think that it's actually a scary space. One of the questions that we got was like, what advice would you give someone that wanted to go into advertising? And I was joking with my team yesterday. I said my answer would be, become a plumber. Become an electrician, because it is really, really freaky to see what AI, how it's impacting our business already. And it's still very, very young. And we're trying to figure out how to harness it and use it to its fullest effect without like making our jobs obsolete. I think that the two that I use the most for research and just client service are ChatGPT, and that I think I like ChatGPT because we call him Gary. Gary has Gary Paul Thompson, GPT, and people who have started at the agency, Daphne being one of them, thought Gary was a real person for a while. We had to be like,
This mysterious Gary.
exactly, he's really smart. Who's this Gary guy? Anyway, ChatGPT learns you and how you like to communicate. And so that has been really helpful for me. And I've worked with Gary long enough that he knows how I say things and how I like to package things. But I also have started using Claude. Claude's Microsoft's version, and we work with a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of data, and I'm finding that Claude, from that perspective, like breaking down data and taking raw data and packaging it appropriately and learning from it, I've gotten way more use out of Claude in that regard than I have ChatGPT. ChatGPT sometimes makes shit up, and I'm like, that's a lie, so it just depends. It depends. Do you guys?
I want to add a little bit on the creative side, because I think that also, Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, all the big heavy hitters all do AI supplemented content. And from a design standpoint, from a creative standpoint, our team's pretty vehemently against using it to create for us. But we have had instances, I did an annual report for a company here, for MCA actually, that did not like a single thing. They wanted this, they wanted exactly, and that was my first foray. I've been doing this since God was a boy, and so this evolution of where AI has gone has been a challenge for somebody like me who's never worked with it. And so I used it to create the image that they wanted. We also use it to expand images if we don't have enough content on a page for InDesign. InDesign has a generative expand tool. Photoshop has a generative expand tool, and that really does become the limit on what we will kind of allow on our team. I know Illustrator does, or not Illustrator, but After Effects, and then there's another animated one that I can't remember off the top of my head that also will just use AI to continue to animate content for you. The learning curve on those is high, and we don't have time to sit there and do it, so we would just as soon, it takes us less time to actually animate and do it on our own than it does to learn the programs, and also I think just makes us stronger at what we do. And like I said earlier, the more that you can create and think on your own without the addition or help of AI, the better off you're just gonna be.
I have a question. Most of my classmates are graphic design, they want to know all that stuff, so I'm gonna ask Alex a question, because we're account executive.
Okay.
And back to this guy thing. So, like, quickly, I retired 2 years ago, was lucky enough to retire early. And for the last 2 years, I play golf every Friday. And in the last 2 years, I've met a lot of people around El Paso, men. I've never really met a woman in our foursome or whatever.
Right.
But lots of men with a lot of business, and they're looking for advertising. And I got bored after a year, and I was like, I'm gonna check out EPCC, graphic design and advertising, because I have a business that I don't do anything with. It's to, when people, I used to drink and know things, now I just know things. And so I find things, like for my dentist, he's like, if you ever find me some old dentistry tools, I'll pay for you. And like, I'll find it. I'll go like to estate sales and find things. But I'm like, wow, well, I could help these guys out. But it wasn't until I got with Mr. Jasper's class this semester, because I just started last semester. And I was like, this is interesting. And so being an account executive, how do you get around not being part of the, I mean, I hate it, but it's the boys club, right? I don't agree with it. Most of my best, I was in the Air Force, and I was in a high school teacher in public school for about 18 years. And my best bosses were female principals. So my question is, how do you get around the boys club? And are you looking for an intern?
Well, first of all, what's your golf game? What do you shoot?
Plus 16.
And he plays more than Fridays.
Okay.
Some by Thursdays, but those.
But, and your question is?
How do you get around, like, there's gotta be a lot of businesses, I would guess, that you don't even get to talk to because.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, only because our office is all women right now, it wasn't built like that.
I guess my question is, do you have a problem with that? Is there a problem with that?
About what?
Of like.
The boys club?
Yeah.
No.
There's a girls club too.
No, not at all. I mean, a lot of our clients are men, and we treat them exactly how we would any client. I don't think it's a difference and a different approach that we take. I think a part of my role is I just naturally like to switch to if I'm talking to a man, I'm gonna try to resonate a little bit more to a man. And I try to just build relationships. So whether it's a woman, a man, a child, I don't know. My job is to, get this person to really trust me and trust what we do, and then we work from there. I don't think it's a gender thing. It's not an age thing. It's just, let's get this done.
Yeah. It's like a conversation.
Yeah.
They gotta trust you.
Of course. Yeah.
But you also should consider, if this is something you're gonna pursue, the time it takes to manage a smaller client like that versus a Paso del Norte Health Foundation or Texas Tech Health Science Center is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so we also, and I as a business owner, have to say, okay, this guy that's a dentist and getting ready to open a clinic needs help. And we get those calls all the time on our agency line and through our website. We have to analyze whether we as a team have the time to help this client and do him justice with the budget that he has.
Yeah, see if you're a good fit.
Sometimes we have to tell them, and it just happened. We were, a First Tee of El Paso, I don't know if you've heard of them, I'm sure it's golf and you seem like you golf a lot. They reached out wanting help with marketing, and so we're like, all right, let's sit down. We sat down with a member of their board and their president and some other person that, coordinator of some sort, had this hour-long conversation about what they wanted to do, and it was a lot, and in the end, so they wanted to attract people to do their camps, so parents and caregivers. They wanted to attract people to donate because they're a nonprofit. They wanted to attract volunteers, 3 really lofty goals. And then it was like, all right, well, what's your budget? $2,500.
There's no way.
I mean, there's no, and so we had to just say, look, here, we'll give you some guidance for free because we think that you're wonderful people and you're doing something really, really great, but you would be wasting your money by hiring an ad agency because you're gonna blow through it in account service hours in the first month. And you wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So we like to be really honest.
Yeah, I can see that because I've seen the flyer.
Yeah.
It wasn't us.
Let me give you a heavy question. No? You talked about the deck, and that is kind of like political. So my question is, when you were talking about it, because I have seen more of the negative than the positive.
Thanks, Max Grossman.
No, oh, yeah, him, yeah. But, my question is, do you, or have you ever, not taken a client because you're like, I don't agree with it?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you sometimes say like, well, money's money? Because I'm pretty sure that there are firms that will just gladly take the money and not care politically for the community, pro or con, you know what I'm saying?
I would say from a business perspective, that's like one of my major flaws. I cannot hide my feelings on this face. So if someone reaches out for something and asks us to participate in a project that, and it's not just me, I go to all of us and say, how do you guys feel about this one? It's, we won't do it.
And truly, to add on to that, there's been multiple instances where Ellen, it's a great account. I mean, the money's great, but if they in turn disrespect one of us, or she's really protective of who she brings in, and I've witnessed that several times.
I've seen you fire clients. Quick.
Well, I just feel like, you know what, we have to be true to ourselves. We position ourselves as an extension of your staff. And so if you're gonna treat us as an extension of your staff with a lack of respect or just rudely or diminish people on the team, well, if I worked for you or if any of them worked for you, they would quit their job. And so we're not so hungry that we'll take anything. And I hope to never be there, to be totally honest. I would close the business before I say that. See what happens next year.
Anybody else? These are good questions. All right, so let's give a round of applause and thank you to the